Over 200 years ago, Dr. Benjamin Rush, one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence, one of the individuals who put his life, his liberty, and his family fortune on the line so that the United States of America could be born, had this to say about medicine. I'm paraphrasing. Unless we put medical freedom into the Constitution, the time will come when medicine will organize itself into a dictatorship. To restrict the art of healing to one class of men or women and deny equal privileges to others will constitute the Bastille of medical science. All such laws are un-American and despotic. And ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly what's happened here over the last 107, 108 years. In 1912, Congress gave the American Medical Association exclusive control, the exclusive right to determine who could call themselves a doctor and to define and describe the training of a doctor. At that point in time, every other medical profession got kicked off of the bus of medicine. The chiropractors, the acupuncturists, the naturopaths, the herbalists, everybody else who didn't practice drug medicine was kicked off of the bus of medicine. This happened well before anybody in this listening audience was alive, and that's the way that it has been ever since. You've grown up inside of a medical monopoly, which is so complete that you don't even know that it exists. And the way that it goes in our brains is you look around and you think, well, the only medicine practiced in my hospital is MD-directed medicine. The only medicine my insurance pays for is MD-directed medicine. The only medicine they do research on at my local university is MD medicine. The only medicine they do commercials on is MD medicine. And the only medicine they make movies about is MD-directed medicine. Therefore, MD-directed medicine must be the best, because they're everywhere all the time. They're in first place. The only reason they're in first place is because they legislated themselves there and they aggressively kicked everybody else out of the practice of medicine. Now, you know, the chiropractors have fought back. The naturopathic doctors, which I'm a member of that profession, we fought back. The homeopaths were lost to history. Nonetheless, we have not had an equal free medical market for over 100 years here, not only in the United States, but in all industrialized nations. And so, when we have a failure, a medical failure, as we have had, it is my supposition that we have had an egregious failure when it comes to these school shootings, these church shootings, these mass murders by crazy people with automatic weapons. The thought is never, well, it must be the system of medicine that's to blame. We never think that, because we have been socialized to believe that, well, the medical doctors have the secret decoder ring to all things medical, and if they can't figure it out, well, nobody can. You know, my profession, the naturopathic medical profession, is only licensed and regulated in 24 states in the United States. Now, does that make logical sense to the laws of science? Do the laws of medicine change when you cross a state line? No. Why isn't my profession licensed and regulated in all 50 states? Because of politics. Because of the control that the American Medical Association was given over the dissemination of medical knowledge in 1912. Would you be okay if Congress passed a law today which said the only people that can sell gasoline in your state is ExxonMobil? Nobody else gets to sell gasoline in your state. I don't think you'd be okay with that. Would you be okay if the government passed a law that said the only person that can sell fast food in your state is McDonald's? Nobody else gets to sell fast food. There'd be outrage. It wouldn't even be allowed. But that's exactly what's happened with the practice of medicine. But it happened so long ago, and it's been such an institution, a Machiavellian, monopolistic medical monopoly, that you don't even know it exists. And so when we see situations like Florida, where I purport the motive behind the massacre was a reaction to prescription medication, a central nervous system gone crazy because of lack of nutrition. We don't think it through. We think, wow, we need better psychiatric access. We need more access to psychiatric medicine. We need to have better psychiatric, medical procedures. No, we don't. We need to abandon the conventional medical method because in this regard it has failed us. And this is not a diatribe against pharmaceuticals. It may surprise you to understand that as a naturopathic doctor, I can prescribe drugs. Isn't that interesting? Like guns, it's not the drug, it's how it's used. Members of my profession are not against pharmaceuticals. This is science-based, clinically verified medicine. Alternative to the conventional drugs and surgery, drugs and surgery, drugs and surgery all the time. Now, if you have a bullet in your arm, heaven forbid, or a broken bone, a bleeding artery, then get thee to the MD because that is their wheelhouse, and they are excellent at that most of the time. But when it comes to chronic illness, when it comes to psychiatric illness, attention deficit disorder, psychiatric disturbances, depression, conventional medicine has failed completely. We need a different method. And in a free medical market, that would spontaneously happen. If by some genie in the bottle magic we all woke up tomorrow and in all 50 states there were just as many naturopathic doctors, just as many chiropractic doctors, just as many acupuncturists and Ayurvedic practitioners and homeopathic doctors as MDs, if we all had equal access to insurance payments, if we all had equal treatment privileges in hospitals, and if research money was doled out proportionately across all medical disciplines, within 5 years, MDs practicing general family practice medicine would be out of a job. Because when it comes to chronic illnesses, their therapeutics are horrible. That's not their thing. That's our thing. That's the holistic medical professionals thing. And these people need to get out of the way and give us a seat at the table. Actually, we need to take back our seat at the table because it was taken away from us long before most of you were born. It is a gigantic failure of the marketplace, and we're suffering because of it now. And the socialization is so complete that, look, even when the medical doctors fail us, leading cause of death in the United States, MD-directed medical treatments, even when the medical profession bankrupts us, leading cause of bankruptcy in the United States, medical bills, even when medicine kills our loved ones, hurts us, lets us down completely, they get a pass. Because in our mind, they're the only show in town, and if they can't figure it out, well, nobody can, and that's nonsense. My colleagues and I make a gigantic difference in the health of people dealing with chronic disease. And ironically, tragically, most people don't even know how to pronounce naturopath, let alone know what it is. We need a free medical market. Naturopathic medicine, all forms of licensed and regulated holistic medicine need to be covered by medical insurance equally yesterday. We need to have equal access to hospitals yesterday. And the research community needs to get their head out of their rear end and start funding holistic medical research because that's where the future lies. I am your steadfast advocate for health, Dr. Peter Glidden. Wake up and take your health back.